A good move is when everything's already packed.
They say you never really know someone until you marry them. What they don't tell you is that sometimes you don't know them until they ask for permission to screw someone else. I was under my '68 Mustang, the only relationship in my life that didn't require constant emotional maintenance. When I heard Lisa's voice drift through the garage door, she was on her phone laughing, not the polite chuckle she used with clients. This was different, intimate. "No, he won't care," she said. "Trust me, Mike's so wrapped up in his little garage kingdom he barely notices I exist anymore." I rolled out from under the car, grease on my hands, curiosity burning hotter than the engine I'd been rebuilding. "Besides," Lisa continued, "couples do this all the time now. It's called being evolved." I stood up, wiped my hands on a rag that was already beyond saving, and walked to the doorway. Lisa was in the kitchen, her back to me, still on the phone. Her blonde hair was perfectly styled. She'd just come from the salon. Again, third time this month. "I'll talk to him tonight," she said. "It'll be fine. He's reasonable." Reasonable. That's what I'd been for 12 years. Reasonable when she wanted to spend 10 grand redecorating a living room that was already perfectly fine. Reasonable when her sister moved in for just a few weeks that turned into 8 months. Reasonable when she started working late with her new business partner, Brad, 3 nights a week. She ended the call and turned around, startled to see me standing there. "How long have you been there?" she asked. "Long enough." I crossed my arms. "Who were you talking to?" "Sarah, from work." She set her phone down on the counter, screen side down. Always screen side down lately. Funny, Sarah's voice sounds a lot deeper than I remember. Lisa's jaw tightened. She had to tell when she was caught in something. Her left eye twitched, just barely. There it was. Fine, it was Brad. Brad, your business partner, Brad. The one with the Porsche and the gym membership he won't shut up about. "Don't be like that, Mike." "Like what? A husband who finds it weird that his wife is having intimate phone conversations with another man?" She sighed, the kind of sigh that said she was the one being inconvenienced here. "Actually, I'm glad you overheard. We need to talk." Those 4 words. Never in the history of marriage have those 4 words led anywhere good. Lisa poured herself a glass of wine, her third of the evening, I noted, and sat at the kitchen table. She gestured for me to join her. I stayed standing. "Mike, we've been together a long time. 12 years married, 15 total. Right, and things have gotten stale." "Stale?" I repeated the word like it was foreign. "Like bread?" "Don't be difficult, you know what I mean. We're in a rut, we barely talk anymore. We haven't had a real date night in months. You're always in that garage, and I'm always working with Brad." Her eye twitched again. "Yes, with Brad. He's my colleague. We have a lot of listings together." "So, what are you proposing, Lisa? Marriage counseling, a vacation? Or are we getting to the part where you ask me if you can sleep with Brad?" The color drained from her face. Bingo. That's not, I mean, she took a long drink of wine. "I've been reading about open relationships." I laughed, actually laughed. It came out harsh and bitter, echoing off the kitchen walls. "Open relationships? Let me guess, Brad's been reading about them too?" "This isn't about Brad. Bees. Mike, please, just hear me out." She stood up, moving closer. I could smell her perfume. Expensive, new, not the one I'd bought her for Christmas. "People are doing this now. It's healthy. It acknowledges that one person can't meet all of another person's needs. I thought that's what therapy was for. I'm serious. We can set boundaries, have rules. It might actually save our marriage." I stared at my wife, this woman I'd loved since I was 23, who I'd worked 60-hour weeks to support while she got her real estate license, who I'd held when her father died, who I thought I'd grow old with, and I didn't recognize her. "Or," I said slowly, "and hear me out here, we could get divorced." "I don't want a divorce." "No. You want to have your cake and eat it too. You want the stability of a marriage and the excitement of screwing Brad." "His name is Bradley, and this isn't just about him." "Oh, so there are others?" She pressed her lips together. Another tell. Jesus Christ. There were others. "You know what, Lisa? Fine. You want an open relationship? You got it." Her eyes widened. "Really? Sure. Why not? Let's see how evolved we can be." I grabbed my jacket from the hook by the door. "I'm going to Danny's bar. Don't wait up. I might be out being evolved all night. Mike, wait! But I was already out the door, climbing into my truck, my hands shaking so hard I could barely get the key in the ignition. I didn't go to Danny's bar. Not yet. Instead, I drove around for an hour, my mind racing. By the time I finally pulled into the parking lot of Knockout Boxing Gym, I had the beginnings of a plan. Danny O'Brien had been my best friend since high school. He'd gone pro as a boxer for a few years before a shoulder injury ended his career. Now, he owned the gym and a bar downtown. He was in his office when I walked in, going over paperwork. Mike, what are you doing here at 9 on a Tuesday? I told him everything. Every word, every implication, every humiliating detail of my wife asking permission to cheat on me. Danny leaned back in his chair, whistling low. Man, I'm sorry. That's brutal. She thinks I'm going to just accept it, like I'm some kind of doormat. Are you? I looked at my best friend. What do you think? A slow smile spread across Danny's face. I think Lisa just made a big mistake. What do you need? For starters, a good lawyer, and then, I need to borrow your sister. Jennifer O'Brien worked at my auto shop as a mechanic and office manager. She was 32, tough as nails, and had a sarcastic streak that rivaled my own. She was also, conveniently, attractive enough to make my wife insecure. Let me get this straight, Jennifer said the next morning, leaning against my workbench with a cup of coffee. You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend? Just for a few days, maybe a week. And the point is that Lisa wants an open relationship, so I'm going to give her exactly what she asked for. I'm going to show her what open really means. Jennifer took a long sip of coffee, studying me. You know this is insane, right? Completely. And probably going to blow up in your face? Most likely. When do we start? I grinned. Tonight. I'm changing the locks this afternoon. Jesus, Mike. You're really doing this? She gave me an ultimatum, Jen. Open relationship or divorce. So I'm choosing option 3. Make her regret ever bringing it up. The locksmith came at 2. By 4, I had all of Lisa's clothes packed in boxes and stacked neatly in the garage. Not thrown around, not damaged. I wasn't going to give her any ammunition for a judge. Just efficiently packed and relocated. At 5:30, I called Jennifer. You ready? As I'll ever be. This better work, Mike. Trust me. Lisa's car pulled into the driveway at 6:15. I heard her key scrape against the new lock, trying to fit. Once, twice, 3 times. Then the doorbell rang. I waited a beat, then called out, Jen, can you get that? Jennifer, now wearing one of her nicer shirts and with her hair down instead of in its usual ponytail, opened the door. Lisa stood on the porch, her face a mask of confusion. Who are you? Jennifer. You must be Lisa. Mike's told me so much about you. She said it with just enough sweetness to be insulting. Where's my husband? Right here. I appeared behind Jennifer, putting my hand casually on her shoulder. Hey, Lisa, what's up? What's up, Mike? Why doesn't my key work? And who is this? Oh, didn't I mention? I took your advice about the open relationship. This is Jennifer. We work together. And since we're being evolved and meeting each other's needs, I figured it was time to make some changes around here. Lisa's face went from confused to red to purple in about 3 seconds. You changed the locks? Well, yeah. Privacy, for when Jen and I are being evolved. This is insane! You can't just lock me out of my own house. I pulled a manila envelope from my back pocket. Actually, it's my house, my name on the deed, remember? You wanted me to keep it that way for tax purposes, but don't worry, I'm not unreasonable. Here. I handed her the envelope. She opened it with shaking hands. Divorce papers. What the hell is this? Consequences, I said. You want it open? Here's wide open. You can pick up your stuff from the garage. I packed it nice and neat. You're welcome. Mike, you can't. Oh, but I can, and I am. See, the thing about open relationships, Lisa, they require honesty, trust, communication. We don't have any of that. We haven't for a while. So let's just skip to the end, shall we? Jennifer leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, watching the show with barely concealed amusement. I'm not signing these, Lisa said, waving the papers. That's fine. We can do this the hard way. But either way, you're not living here anymore. Have a nice night, Lisa. Say hi to Bradley for me. I closed the door. Through the wood, I could hear her screaming, threatening, crying. It took her 20 minutes to finally get in her car and leave. Jennifer turned to me. Holy crap, Mike. You actually did it. Phase 1 complete. I walked to the window, watching Lisa's taillights disappear down the street. Now comes the fun part. The next morning, my phone exploded with texts and calls. Lisa had apparently spent the evening calling everyone we knew, spinning her version of events. I was cruel. I was having an affair. I was mentally unstable, but I'd prepared for this. I'd spent the previous night sending my own messages to specific people with specific details. The neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, who loved gossip more than her own grandchildren. Lisa's coworker, Sarah, who'd never liked her. The ladies from the gym Lisa went to. I didn't lie. I just told the truth. Lisa had asked for an open relationship so she could sleep with her business partner. I'd agreed and moved on. She was upset that I'd moved on faster than she expected. By noon, my phone was ringing with supportive messages. By evening, Lisa's Facebook post about betrayal and cruelty had backfired spectacularly, with dozens of comments asking why she'd asked for an open relationship if she didn't want her husband to date other people. Danny called me at 7. Dude, you're a legend. Lisa's melting down at the bar right now. She's here with Bradley and everyone's giving them the cold shoulder. Bradley's there? Oh, yeah. And get this, he looks miserable. I don't think he signed up for all this drama. Good. Let them stew. I'll be there in 20. Jennifer met me outside Danny's bar. You sure about this? Absolutely. Time for phase 2. We walked in together, my hand on the small of her back. The bar went quiet for about 3 seconds, then erupted in whispers. Lisa was in a corner booth with Bradley, and the look on her face when she saw me with Jennifer was worth every penny I'd spent on the lawyer. Bradley was exactly what I expected. Tall, tan, too much gel in his hair, wearing a polo shirt that showed off his gym rat physique. He looked like every middle-aged guy desperately trying to look 30. We didn't approach them. We didn't have to. We just sat at the bar, ordered drinks, and laughed. Jennifer was good at this. She touched my arm, leaned in close, played the part perfectly. She's staring daggers at us, Jennifer whispered. Let her stare. Bradley said something to Lisa, and she shook her head violently. He tried again, and she snapped at him. Even from across the bar, I could see the relationship cracking. Then Bradley made his mistake. He got up, walked over to us, and tapped me on the shoulder. We need to talk, he said. I turned slowly, making him wait. Do we? Man to man? Okay. I stood up. Bradley was taller than me by a few inches, but I'd been boxing with Danny since high school. I knew how to carry myself. Talk. This thing with Lisa, it's not what you think. Really? Because I think you've been sleeping with my wife. Am I wrong? He shifted uncomfortably. It's complicated. No, Bradley, it's really not. You wanted to screw a married woman. She wanted to screw you. She asked me for permission, probably because you told her to. And now you're both shocked that there are consequences. She loves you, man. She's just confused. She loves me? I laughed. That's interesting. Because she told you I barely noticed she exists. I heard her, Bradley. I heard everything. His face went pale. Look, I don't want any trouble. Then you should have kept your hands off my wife. But since we're past that, let me make something clear. Stay away from me. Stay away from my business. And when this all falls apart, and it will, don't come crying to me about how you didn't know she was crazy. I turned back to the bar, dismissing him. He stood there for a moment, then slunk back to Lisa. Jennifer raised her glass. That was beautiful. Just getting started. Over the next week, things escalated in ways I hadn't fully anticipated. Lisa moved in with Bradley, a decision that surprised exactly no one, except apparently Bradley, whose enthusiasm for the affair seemed to diminish the moment it became his daily reality. But the real chaos started when I received a call from an unknown number. Mike, this is Vanessa, Lisa's friend from college. I remembered Vanessa vaguely. Sharp features, sharper tongue, always seemed to be judging everyone around her. Yeah, what's up? I need to meet with you. It's about Lisa and Bradley and, well, it's complicated. Can you meet me at the coffee shop on Main Street? Tomorrow at 10? My curiosity won out over my caution. Sure. Vanessa was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth with 2 cups of coffee. She slid one toward me as I sat down. Thanks for coming, she said. I wasn't sure you would. You said it was about Lisa. It is, but it's also about me. She took a deep breath. Mike, I need you to know something. This whole thing, Lisa and Bradley, the open relationship, all of it, I pushed her into it. I set down my coffee. Why would you do that? Because 3 years ago, you fired me. I stared at her, trying to place the memory. Then it clicked. You're the Vanessa who worked at my shop? The one who was stealing from the register? I wasn't stealing. I was borrowing. I was going to pay it back. You took $3,000 over 2 months. And you humiliated me. You called the cops, pressed charges, made sure everyone in town knew what I'd done. I lost everything. My job, my reputation, my apartment. I had to move back in with my parents at 30 years old. You stole from me. And you destroyed my life. Her voice rose, drawing looks from other customers. She lowered it, leaning forward. So I decided to destroy yours. I've been in Lisa's ear for months, telling her she deserved better, that you took her for granted, that Bradley was interested. I set up their first business dinner. I'm the one who sent her all those articles about open relationships. I sat back, processing this. You orchestrated all of this? Because I fired you for stealing? I wanted you to feel what I felt, humiliated, betrayed, alone. Well, congratulations, you succeeded. Feel better? She looked down at her coffee. No, actually, I feel like crap because Lisa's my friend, or she was, and I've ruined her marriage, her reputation, everything. And Bradley's a dirtbag who's already cheating on her with someone else. Wait, what? Bradley, he's seeing someone else, some client of his. I saw them together yesterday at a restaurant across town. He doesn't know I know. I leaned forward. Tell me everything. Vanessa did. Bradley, it turned out, was a serial cheater. He'd had affairs with at least 3 other married women in the past 2 years. Lisa was just the latest. And, according to Vanessa, he'd been planning to dump Lisa as soon as the divorce was finalized and he could move on without the drama. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I'm trying to do the right thing for once, and because I think you should know that Lisa's been siphoning money from your joint account. She's been transferring it to a separate account Bradley set up for her, about $20,000 so far. My jaw clenched. That's illegal. I know, and I have proof. Bank statements, emails, everything. I was going to use it to blackmail her, but she pushed a manila folder across the table. I'm giving it to you instead. Do with it what you want. I opened the folder. Everything was there. Documented evidence of financial fraud, screenshots of text messages between Lisa and Bradley planning how to hide assets. Even a recorded phone call where Lisa admitted she was planning to take me for everything he's worth in the divorce. Why the change of heart? I asked. Vanessa smiled sadly. Because revenge isn't as satisfying as I thought it would be. And because you didn't deserve this. You were right to fire me. I was stealing. I was just too proud to admit it. I closed the folder. Thank you. What are you going to do? I don't know yet, but I promise you, it'll be memorable. That night, I met with my lawyer, Thomas Brennan, a sharp-dressed man in his 50s who'd been practicing family law for 30 years. I showed him everything Vanessa had given me. He whistled low. This is damning. With this, you could have her arrested. I don't want her arrested. I want her to understand what she's done. Then what do you want? I want her to lose everything she thought she was going to gain. I want Bradley exposed for what he is. And I want to walk away clean. Thomas smiled. I think I can work with that. The plan came together over the next few days. Thomas filed motions with the court, documenting the financial fraud and requesting an emergency hearing. Meanwhile, I started my own investigation into Bradley. It didn't take long to find dirt. Bradley's real estate license had been suspended twice for ethics violations. He'd been sued by 3 former clients for misrepresentation. And, most damning, he was currently under investigation by the State Real Estate Board for fraud. I compiled everything into a neat package and sent it to Lisa's boss, the head of the real estate agency where they both worked. Then I waited. The explosion came on a Thursday afternoon. Lisa's boss, Margaret Chen, called an emergency meeting at the office. Both Lisa and Bradley were fired on the spot. Margaret didn't mince words. She'd reviewed the evidence I'd provided, conducted her own investigation, and found enough to warrant immediate termination and a report to the state board. Lisa called me 30 times that day. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent her a single text. Consequences. That evening, Jennifer and I went to Danny's bar to celebrate. We'd kept up the fake relationship for appearance's sake, and honestly, it had been kind of fun. She was good company, and we'd developed an easy rapport. So what now? She asked, sipping her beer. Now? Now I wait for the court hearing. Thomas says with the evidence we have, the judge will likely award me everything. The house, the cars, even part of Lisa's retirement account to compensate for what she stole. And Bradley. Bradley's going to have his own problems. The state board investigation is going to find some very interesting things that might result in him losing his license permanently. Jennifer clinked her beer against mine. You know, when you first told me this plan, I thought you were crazy. But I have to admit, you pulled it off. We're not done yet. What do you mean? Before I could answer, the bar door burst open. Lisa stormed in, her face red and blotchy from crying, her hair a mess. She spotted me immediately and marched over. "You fool!" she screamed. "You got me fired. You ruined my career." The bar went silent. Everyone turned to watch. I stayed calm. "No, Lisa, you ruined your career when you decided to commit fraud. I just made sure people knew about it." "You had no right." "I had every right. You stole from me. You tried to hide assets in a divorce. You broke the law. I was going to pay you back. Like Vanessa was going to pay back the money she stole from my register?" Lisa froze. "What? Oh, you didn't know? Your friend Vanessa, the one who's been whispering in your ear for months, convincing you to cheat on me, to ask for an open relationship. She set this whole thing up. It was revenge because I fired her for stealing. She told me everything." Lisa's face went from red to white. "That's not... She wouldn't..." "She did. And she gave me all the evidence I needed to bury you in court. Bank statements, emails, recorded phone calls, everything." "You're lying." I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Vanessa's voice, clear as day, explaining her plan, admitting to manipulating Lisa, confessing to everything. Lisa sank into a nearby chair, her legs giving out. "Oh my God." "It gets better," I continued. "Bradley's being investigated by the state real estate board. Turns out he's been running scams for years. And that woman he's been seeing on the side? She's married too. Her husband found out yesterday. He's not as nice as me. He's pressing charges for alienation of affection." "Alienation of what?" "It's a law in this state. You can sue someone for destroying your marriage. Bradley's about to be sued into oblivion." Lisa looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. "Mike, please. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Can we please just..." "No." I stood up. "You made your choice, Lisa. You wanted to be evolved. You wanted to explore. You wanted an open relationship. Well, congratulations. You got exactly what you asked for. I hope it was worth it." I walked out of the bar, Jennifer beside me, leaving Lisa sobbing in the chair. "That was harsh," Jennifer said once we were outside. "She deserved it." "I know, but still. Are you okay?" I took a deep breath of the cool night air. "Yeah, actually, I am. For the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe." The court hearing was set for the following Monday. Thomas was confident. We had evidence, witnesses, and the law on our side. Lisa had nothing but excuses and a lawyer who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. But the weekend before the hearing, things took an unexpected turn. Saturday morning, I was at the shop working on a customer's transmission when Bradley showed up. He looked terrible, unshaven, wrinkled clothes, dark circles under his eyes. "Mike, I need to talk to you." I didn't look up from my work. "Nothing to talk about, Bradley. Please, just 5 minutes." I sighed, set down my wrench, and wiped my hands. "Fine, 5 minutes. Lisa's falling apart. She's been staying with me, and she cries all the time. She won't eat. She won't leave the apartment. I think she might hurt herself." "And you're telling me this why?" "Because she needs help, professional help, and she won't listen to me. But she might listen to you." "Bradley, let me make something very clear. Lisa is not my problem anymore. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. She made a mistake. She committed fraud. She tried to steal from me. She destroyed our marriage. Those aren't mistakes. They're crimes. So you're just going to let her destroy herself?" I stepped closer to him. "You know what the funny thing is, Bradley? You thought you were getting some kind of prize. A beautiful woman, successful, charming. But you didn't know the real Lisa. The one who lies, who manipulates, who takes what she wants without caring who she hurts. Well, now you know. How's it feel?" He didn't answer. "Get out of my shop, Bradley, and don't come back." He left, and I went back to work. But his words nagged at me. Was Lisa really falling apart? And if she was, did I care? The answer, I realized, was complicated. I didn't love her anymore. That had died the moment she asked for an open relationship. But I didn't want her to hurt herself either. I wasn't a monster. I called Thomas. If Lisa agrees to sign the divorce papers, accept full responsibility for the fraud, and pay back every penny she stole plus interest, will the judge go easy on her? Probably. She'd avoid jail time at least. Why? Because I want this over. I want her out of my life, and I don't want her blood on my hands. I'll draw up an agreement. Sunday afternoon, I met Lisa at a neutral location, a park bench downtown. She looked worse than I'd imagined. Thin, pale, her eyes red and hollow. "Thank you for meeting me," she said quietly. "Thomas sent you the agreement?" "Yes, I'll sign it. I'll sign anything. Mike, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know how I let Vanessa manipulate me like that. I don't know how I became this person." "You became this person because you made choices, Lisa. Bad choices, selfish choices. But they were your choices. I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life regretting them." I pulled out a pen and the agreement. "Sign here, here, and here." She signed without reading it. When she was done, I took the papers and stood up. "Mike, wait. Is there any chance at all that we could—" "No, I understand." She looked down at her hands. "For what it's worth, I did love you. I do love you. I just lost sight of what that meant. Goodbye, Lisa." I walked away and didn't look back. The court hearing on Monday was a formality. Lisa's lawyer presented the signed agreement. The judge reviewed it, asked Lisa a few questions to ensure she understood what she was signing, and then granted the divorce. I got the house, the cars, and full restitution for the stolen money. Lisa got to avoid jail time and keep her retirement account. It was over. Outside the courthouse, Jennifer was waiting. "How'd it go?" "It's done. I'm officially single." "How do you feel?" "Honestly, relieved and exhausted." She linked her arm through mine. "Come on. Danny's throwing you a divorce party at the bar tonight. Open bar, your favorite wings, and a crowd of people who are genuinely happy for you." "A divorce party? That's a thing?" "It is now." The party was exactly what I needed. Loud, chaotic, full of friends who'd supported me through the whole mess. Danny made a toast about new beginnings. Mrs. Patterson, my gossip-loving neighbor, gave me a casserole and a lecture about finding a nice girl. Even Vanessa showed up, sober and apologetic, with a check for $3,000, the money she'd stolen, plus interest. "I can't undo what I did," she said, "but I can at least make this right." I took the check. "Thank you. Are we okay?" "We're getting there." Around midnight, as the party was winding down, Jennifer pulled me aside. "So, about this fake relationship." "Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could try a real one. You know, once you've had time to process everything and you're actually ready to date again." I smiled. "You want to date me after all this drama? I've seen you at your worst, Mike, and you handled it with class, intelligence, and just the right amount of revenge. That's pretty attractive. Give me a month. Let me get my head straight. And then, yeah, I'd like that." She kissed me on the cheek. "It's a date." The next morning, I woke up in my own house, my house now, fully and legally mine, and made coffee in my quiet kitchen. No drama, no lies, no tension, just peace. My phone buzzed with a text from Danny. "Saw Bradley at the gym this morning. He's moving back to Ohio. Something about starting over. Thought you'd want to know." I smiled and typed back, "Good riddance." Another text came through, this one from an unknown number. "Mike, this is Lisa. I'm moving to California. My sister offered me a job out there. I just wanted to say thank you for not destroying me completely. I know I didn't deserve your mercy. I hope someday you can forgive me. L." I stared at the message for a long moment, then deleted it without responding. Some things didn't need a reply. I walked out to my garage, to my Mustang, still waiting for me to finish the rebuild. I grabbed my tools and got to work, the familiar rhythm of wrenches and bolts grounding me. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But I learned something through all of this. Revenge isn't about destruction. It's about justice. It's about consequences. It's about making sure that people who hurt you understand exactly what they've done. Lisa wanted an open relationship. I gave her an open door, out of my life, out of my house, out of my future. And you know what? I've never felt more free. 3 months later, Jennifer and I went on our first official date. 6 months after that, Danny asked me to be his best man when he finally proposed to his longtime girlfriend. A year later, my shop expanded, hiring 3 new mechanics and doubling our business. Life moved on. Better, stronger, wiser. And Lisa? I heard through the grapevine that she was doing okay in California, working a regular job, going to therapy, trying to rebuild her life. I hoped she succeeded, not for her sake, but for mine, because holding on to anger would have made me just as bitter as she'd become. I chose differently. I chose to let go, to move forward, to build something better from the ashes of what I'd lost. And in the end, that was the best revenge of all.